But this could all stay with Dawn. This isn't hard.
Well, good evening, everyone. Joel, can you hear us?
All good, sir.
Maybe the owl got scared because we have a new one here. Maybe it'll work right. All right, well, welcome everybody. I'd like to, we're going to open the meeting. We usually, mention the territory that we operate on. So this territory is the customary and traditional lands of the Moosonee people since time immemorial. We acknowledge the sacred land on which the town of Moosonee operates within lands protected by the James Bay Treaty, Treaty Number 9. We are grateful to have the opportunity to make decisions at this table that will impact our community, Miigwech. With that, I will turn over for a preamble from Bob Lynn, please.
For transparency, I'd like to remind all the participants and attendees that the meeting is being recorded in accordance with the municipality procedures. In the event of emergency, please exit while this room and use the main door.
Better shut this off. Thank you, Bob. And we open with the resolution 2026-195. Be resolved that this regular council meeting comes to order at 6:02 p.m. Present is Mayor Taipola, Councillor Hunter, and Councillor Nakaji. Absent is Councillor Tozer and Councillor Ryder. They are both out of town. They have notified us in advance. So I will put this resolution on the floor. I would ask for a mover, please. Susan Hunter moves it. Could I have a seconder, please? Xavier Nakaji seconds it. Are there any discussion opening the meeting? If not, all in favor. Opposed, carried. Thank you, everybody. The meeting is open. First, I'd just like to do a little introduction to people. This is Todd Francis. He's our new CEO. I think we've all met him now. All right. Joey, you're familiar with him as well, I bet. Okay. And we also like to recognize Dan from Hydro here. And Todd and Dan, you've met. I've known Dan for a little while, so, and I welcome him to our meeting, and then we have Nar and Bob in. So with that, I will turn over for the next call, review of the agenda, please, Bob. All
right. Resolution 2026, number 2026-196, be it resolved that the agenda be accepted as presented / amended.
Thank you. Could I have a mover for this resolution, please? Sabian moves it. Sabian Nakaji moves it. Seconder. Seconder is Susan Hunter. Are there any changes to the agenda? I don't see any changes to the agenda, so we'll accept it as presented. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor. Opposed, carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Are there any pecuniary interests to disclose? I don't see any at this time. Anytime you're in the meeting, if you missed one and you would like to disclose that time, please feel free to do so. We will go to number 4, a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting, number 2026. Please, Bob.
Resolution 2026, number 2026-197, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee adopt the minutes of the regular meeting number 19-2026 of July 28, 2026 as presented / amended.
Thank you. Could I have a mover, please? Susan, seconder, Sabian. Moved by Susan Hunter, seconded by Sabian Nakaji. You've all had a copy of the minutes in your pack. You had a chance to look them over. Are there any changes? No changes or corrections? Okay, so we'll accept them as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Thank you very much. So we go right into presentation and delegations, and Dan, you have the hot seat. We'll ask you if you would come up here, if you would, please. And again, welcome. And we're not that informal, and you have about 15 minutes to give us a presentation. And this is to do with the hydro line for the hospital and the relocate that we had talked about at a couple of meetings. So thanks, Dan, you have the floor.
Yeah, so we've, about a year and a half ago, Infrastructure Ontario approached us, letting us know about the project. We did a high level estimate for them. We're now trying to finalize the, final estimate. So why I'm here today is to try and discuss potential options or conflicts, with you guys. So essentially, we're required to install a new feeder, on the existing, we're rebuilding the existing pole line. They need a dedicated supply. So this rebuilt pole line that runs along Quarry Road would have, on one side of it, would have the municipal supply and then the hospital supply. Now, everything's fine along Quarry Road, but as we come into town, your supply runs north, up Percy's Way. And then we're looking to find a path within the property. So working with Waha, we were hoping to come in outside of their obstruction limit because the new poles are going to be a little taller than the current ones. So we actually were hoping to run two options by you today. I've had a bit of consultation with the mayor and NAR and Joel already. So our position kind of changed once we understood kind of the town's position with the housing situation. So I had two techs with me today. We went out in the field to look at it firsthand on the ground. And we're looking to propose, because there is a heliport that is being constructed by Waha, we're trying to stay outside of that limit and not increase the pole height near the heliport. So I'm hoping to present two options and you can ask questions. We had an issue with our printer at the office. The quality's not great. I was trying to print off a package. And I see Joel's on the projection. But I do have, I don't know if you guys want to huddle around, but I do have some drawings that I can show you quickly to kind of articulate.
I think we should look around.
I think we should look.
Dan, can I jump in for a second there? Aren't we doing the off-site to show them the options in person where the poles are staked?
I can email them to you quickly, hopefully.
Yeah.
Joel, can you
Dan,
pull them up?
Dan, can you hear me there? Aren't we
Yeah.
doing the off-site tour to show them where the poles are staked?
That was the plan, but once we were on site and we've taken the things we've discussed and the amount of brush that's there, I've only ever been here in the fall or winter. And I did put a stake in the field if you guys want to go see this at some point. So there's just a field where we're thinking of cutting in, and that's simply a proposal that's adjustable. But if I show you the diagram or the picture, it might give you a better idea of what we're planning.
Okay, yeah, if you don't feel the field has any value going to the field site, that's where we last left it. We were going to show council in person. But if we think we can do it just with the pictures, I'm on board for that as well. I think, yeah, can you connect? How can we share his screen, Bob?
He can send to you the pictures and you can share it.
Yeah, but I might have
Through your screen.
with off
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
I could do that if he
If
he emails it to me.
Yeah, that's the best way you can do it. Or he can send it to my email.
Sure.
As well.
I sent them to Dexter to print today, so we should be fine.
Yeah, I think Dan, if you send it to me or Boblin, we can get it up on the screen.
Yeah, you can send it to admin@moosonee.ca. It's up to you. Do you want to send it to our admin@moosonee.ca?
Sure.
Yeah, it looked a lot different when you actually out there.
Yeah.
And Dan said even with the leaves on in the bush, it looked a lot different than with the drawings we had.
Admin@moosonee.ca.
Sorry, while they set this up, just to save time, there were some updates for the councilors from the last meeting that I wanted to do.
Okay, good.
One of the updates was the Wobbin and Fifth Street, the backup. So they exposed enough of the pipe to show us that the gravity pipe was going in the other way, so it was basically trying to go on an uphill. And now that we replaced that pipe, it's flowing a lot better, so we're hoping that solved the problem. There's no more issues there. The hydrovac is coming next week, so no updates there on that yet. And the lagoon survey is still being, planned. Other than that, there was an issue with the water truck. And the water truck is off the road because it's not, doesn't have the right, it's that CVOR sticker, and our guy was pulled over. He doesn't want to drive a truck that's not supposed to be on the road, so I'm in the process of figuring out if it's cheaper to get a CVOR certificate for the water truck that Inland provides us, or if it's cheaper to buy one. But because we're near the end of the season, I'm trying to make it work with, maybe hiring, Innis North to water it, or just use the containers in the back of the truck and kind of water it right now.
Oh, maybe it's the movie.
At the time, that's kind of the situation we're at.
Again, on Wobbin Road and Fifth Street, I was over there too talking to them. If you guys remember many years ago, I was on in office and we were in office, but there was a manhole project done.
I'm gonna say
It was
first.
manhole, and we had, that's not the only problem all through town, is instead of the gravity feed is supposed to run from manhole to manhole, but these manholes, when they were put in, upgrade, so that was a lot of, and when Cave was working with us years ago, I think we picked 8 or 9 of them. Because it was not, with no energy, it wasn't that problem.
Just a bit careful. Okay, hold on.
Hopefully this kind
Just a second.
of fixes that issue, and then once we get the back truck, a lot of like, in front of the Norton store, when it rains, I'm sure you guys have noticed a giant puddle forms, and that's just because the catch basins are so full of dirt. Essentially, the water is flowing, just really slow, that's why it takes a couple hours, so hopefully once we get the back truck and clean all that up, there'll be less ponding water, but once we're done the back thing, I'll
That's why it's good to have qualified people here. And if we have a plan, like, there was a plan for phase 1, 2, and 3 when I lost election, and that was for the water, sewer, be completely. Well, the council, they decided they were just going to do the manholes. They thought it was all infiltration into the manholes. So they did the manhole, but when they did that, they created more problems because you can't just do a manhole without the pipes because everything flows a certain way. And when you just do the manhole, pipes go up, and we know what nothing flows up
That's
there.
not the one.
So, I hope when we get elected, the same thing, but we have the crew here that will oversee and make sure. So thanks, Nara, for.
But that's, I think that was it for what we had. Updates. Hopefully next time I can add it to the agenda if there's enough time.
Yeah,
Because
let's try again.
right now we're having a lot of problems with the water operator. You know, they'll be in town and there's like a gap of like who's coming and when's coming. So it's a lot of my attention is going to the water treatment plant to make sure that, you know, everything's good there.
Yeah.
And it's stabilizing too, so.
That's a great question, yeah. So the water flow you're talking about, is that, will that, remember we had, a community member come in and was
Can you use the
concerned about her
response
pipe? Does that mean that's all better
Can you use
along
the
there or
response
getting
door?
better or?
Our stuff is in.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
that particular manhole that was filling up, it just, instead of going down towards the next
Yeah.
Are you
manhole,
able to see the
it was
front
going
door?
up, so that the manhole has to be full enough for the water to get pushed into the.
Yeah, you were
other.
explaining that last time, yeah, so that's, okay.
I can't hear you, Bobbins, or what?
No, it's okay, go ahead. We're just
Oh, okay,
talking.
yeah, so, okay, so maybe that
Can you
will
hear, my window?
help that issue a bit.
I'm sure it'll make it better, and then once we do Wobbin Road itself,
Yeah,
that'll make it
so,
even
okay,
smoother flow.
okay,
She still could have a
Thank you.
problem on,
Yeah.
like, maybe seen
Yeah.
that camera, because there is supposed to take a dip or something in her pipe there.
Right, yeah, that's something, I'm working on to bring to you guys is going into people's homes to flush their.
yeah, because that was the concern we had, right, was that that's what was happening, all,
Yeah.
like on your street, all in that area.
And if you look at her backflow valve,
So we're gonna continue that, right?
they have the backflow valve here for the house,
Yeah.
but they have
It's okay,
the sump,
Daniel is trying to like operate.
this side of the
So
backflow
he's
valve.
doing it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
So that makes
So
like
every
the
time
inside,
they flush their toilet or something, or if that line goes up, it comes into the sump hole and it's what the big, the backflow valve would be, so nothing else comes in there.
I think, like to that particular home that we're talking about, and I know that she had shared that she had a professional had come in and was helping her with that, so hopefully they can help her with, understand that,
Yeah.
that's the problem, right?
yeah,
After talking today and that, I agree, And she was always at my house, like, I do
Yeah.
plan on going over to visit with her.
Yeah, maybe just explain that and give her some advice. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, Dan.
Yes.
We'll turn back to
You guys have
Dan.
a copy, you guys have a copy of this?
Okay.
The station is down here. Down Quarry Road. So this orange line represents the town supply, electrical supply coming up and around and then down Hersey. So we're twinning that line, and then we get to this point, and the heliport is up here. So our question is, this was our original proposal, but we realize now that there's a housing shortage, there's a vacant lot here. We were gonna ask you to go through it. That is an option for us.
Well, that's very much.
But that, it aligns with here, because Wawa's asked us to come in the property around this location. That's one option.
The two lines on Percy, is that, one dedicated for the hospital, is that the one?
Yes, the yellow is dedicated for the hospital.
Okay.
We would be building this with provision for another circuit for future development for the municipality. So it would be tied into this orange line, which is your feed.
Percy is this way, right?
This is
Am I looking
Percy
at it
this
wrong?
way,
Okay,
and this is Quarry Road,
Okay.
and this is PC,
okay, got it.
and this is the Waha property. And then they have their heliport limit, kind of comes up here, their obstruction limit. So this was our original proposal, but we learned that there's a housing shortage. This may not be feasible. Typically, we've asked for an easement to go through, but if that's a service lot, municipality may not be interested in that. So that's one option. It's very clean for us. We go straight through. We stay away from the heliports. There's no obstructions. There's no additional work required on our end. So that's like option one. Let's bring up option two here. So it's very similar. Your town supply is still going up around Percy as is. We would tie in future, you could tie into it, and this could be municipal supply for development of this area. And the hospital still comes down this way on a new pole line. But at this point, it's very congested here. So today we were evaluating everything. We looked at property lines, property bars. If we were to come through here and make the corner, because of the size of the poles, we land with anchors on the properties. We're still impeding the property's development. So we're still kind of in the same position we were with option one. So today we were back here, we did put a stake out here and a stake over here. Just to mark in, like this is quite thick in here. So we're proposing as an alternate to stay out of the heliport unit to potentially, oh, sorry, I should mention that this is all town of Moosonee, right? So we're proposing to cut in with a buffer that's determined with the municipality to not potentially, because you may not want to encroach on the properties, and come in up here through your property. So this is a parcel, and this is a separate parcel that the town owns. So we're hoping, another option for us, what we were hoping is that we could secure an easement to come through here and build it in a way that in future we could run a municipal three-phase in here, so if something did happen in this area, we could also supply.
Okay, again, just for your information, I believe that triangle, you belong to the Crown land.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think it's Crown land, you'd have to deal with them.
I think of the town of Moosonee on my GIS when I was trying to look at the parcel. I can do a proper
We're trying
research.
to get that right now, transferred over to us, because that's where the university, we're talking about the university more in that area.
Yeah, there's two chunks here. There's like a pie-shaped chunk and there's another chunk down here.
Okay. I'm not quite sure, I think where the house at the end of the lot, town land, the rest of it's Crown land. I know we're working, and Joel might know more about, but we're working at the that might be crown land.
And we can investigate that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
We can investigate.
we'll try and find out, get some information, and I'll get back to you.
So those are kind of our two options right now, with obviously this one being the most, seems like the most favorable for, I think it's a good one for us, and it's also a good one for the town, because it does bring power into that area as well. And it doesn't, my big concern was impacting the customers and all these anchors and these intrusive poles and then easements trying to land on the property and then you can't develop anything, or it's gonna cause issues for NAR. This buffer is negotiable, obviously to move, depending on how you see your developing the property. But that would be an off-road easement, typically 10 meters wide, so 33 feet wide. We would keep that brushed and cleared.
I personally think that's a good option. If the university comes in, there's a beach university off of it as well. Eventually, but this part of the hospital, okay, but I understand. And another thing is, we're not dealing with anchors or wires on private property, because that is my biggest headache, and working for the company. All it takes is one person says, no, you can't have an anchor there, and then they have to go another.
And we did observe like a couple big trees in there, and we would have a hard time negotiating those easements, because even though our poles aren't on their property, we still have tree cutting rights to take, so it kind of impacts those mature lots, and we're unlikely to secure an easement on the road anyways for those tree cutting rights.
In terms of the actual land, I can confirm that's not town land, that little triangle where those blue and yellow arrows are right now. It's part of the request that we have in with M&R right now to acquire that land from M&R. It's one of the things that Victoria was working on. That is a section, but that Corey Road, Percy's Way, where the road kind of curves there, where your blue and yellow arrows are on your picture right there. Right now, that's not town property.
So we could work with the town on the LUP to kind of determine where we go with the town, keeping in mind that the town may acquire that land at some point. So we would work with the MNRF to submit the LUP, and we could consult with you to say, where would you like to come in here? Because I know there is a creek here as well. And I don't know how that would impact your future development. So you may want to, but that, where we go in is we can move that, because we're outside of that obstruction limit from the heliport there. So we're trying to avoid, because our new pole line will be about 10 feet, will be approximately 10 feet taller, and we're trying to avoid to increase the pole height through the heliport encroachment limit or obstruction limit.
Dan, on this one, can we go to the helicopter pad drawing here?
Yep.
Because
It's in the email.
It's in the.
Yeah.
WA basically worked with Hydro One without involving us. And this is how Dan is coming up with these solutions. But my understanding is that while WA is claiming that we can't put our hydro line there, that has to be rerouted. The very report that they sent us from their consultant engineer said that the poles are not in line, and all they have to do is mark the poles up so that the helicopter can see them. So our line can say exactly where it is.
The municipal supply.
And, I mean, wouldn't you be able to put the hospital on the same poles and bring it from where they're being fed right now?
No, because I have to cross that much closer to the heliport.
Isn't there feed further north?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, but we have to bring the line past them.
Once we get the.
Yeah,
Because realistically, if they want to run it, however they want to run it on their lot, they can run it on their lot. We just have to be really good to the lot. Ultimately, if they want to run it underground or however they want.
So they have chosen to run it underground throughout their property.
Right, so it doesn't ultimately matter where we can do the crossing. If they can bring the conduits hopefully through to that point, then maybe that's the solution. It's just, I'm not really happy with the fact that they didn't involve us until now. And I'm also not happy with them lying to me saying, no, we can't put the hydro line there because of the helicopter. I read the report they tell me to read, and it says we can't.
So this would impact, like this proposal, that would be future state when that Percy's line comes into question, right? Because they approached us for two different projects, their new connection, their new feed, which is this one. And then they wanted to address the poles that go on Percy's Way, as a potential relocate. To move them out of that heliport area. So that was going to impact, essentially, we would have to reroute the feeder in parallel up to KC and come back down to tie in the town. Or we might be able to avoid this, but that's like we haven't even done anything final on our end. We only gave them a very high level. If you want to do this, this is the cost. We haven't looked at all the data. We haven't done any studies. You know, it's 500,000. But they were like at the beginning of the project, they were very aggressive, and they just needed ballpark figures for what they envisioned. And we haven't. So that project is not even coming back to us till maybe 2028, 2029, right, where we would start to do
any of that.
No, so I don't want to mix the two up. So we do have to get them their supply next year, their permanent supply. That was in yellow. But they had approached us about your existing municipal feed along Percy's Way and potentially modifying that.
Like move it. So, you know, probably over.
Yeah,
Current
so,
supply. Go ahead, Joel.
okay, so yeah, so now that the drawing's up there, one of the challenges we've had is that in that diagram that's up there, that center blue circle or gray circle with the blue rectangle around it, that's where they currently have started building the helipad. In our previous discussions with them, the helipad was in an entirely different location on the Waha site. It got moved here, but in our conversations with David and different representatives from Waha, they weren't ever able to provide us documentation where the town was consulted and agreed to the helipad being in this location. They just started pouring concrete and building a helipad here. And based upon that location, they're saying you're going to have to remove some hydro poles because of clearance and flight paths, etc., which is what those green triangles are, trying to show you the flight path entering, exiting that helipad. And they're saying, so because there's a flight path there, you've got to rip some poles out. This limits how the wires can get in there. It's like, hold on. We never agreed to the helipad being there, number one. Even if the helipad is there, number two, what are the actual governing legislation requirements by NAV Canada or whoever that say what the flight path has to be and what the height of hydro poles can be underneath flight paths, et cetera, et cetera. So we're kind of talking about all this, but Waha's just gone ahead without consulting the town. And then now we're kind of trying to backpedal and say, well, we never agreed to these things in the first place. But if the helicopter pad was going to be there, and if that's the only flight path that can come in and out of that location of a helipad, then we look at what are the options for hydro coming in. But I just want council to be aware of, like, this is also based on some things that aren't in stone because Waha just made decisions on their own without getting towns full approved buy-in to these decisions, which impact us. Future development north of the Waha plant and wanting to do residential development up there. How does that hydro come into effect? And is there going to be a cost from Hydro One 5 years from now if we're ripping out poles to say, can you rerun some poles somewhere else? Oh, there's a cost for that. Well, that's really from the Waha project 5 years ago. So there's a lot of future development involved here and a lot of decisions made by Waha that the town wasn't consulted on. So I just want council to be mindful of that as we talk through these options, that we do still have the option of pushing back on Waha, sort of, or even the location on the helipad in general.
Yeah, so like for us, I think future state, we'd like to see both the line on Percy's Way stay as is and the new line come in through the currently crown land and up and around, because that would also set you up for future development.
I think, basically we were told that that line has to come out and those are emergency landing spots, the orange dots, okay? That's our property, basically where the orange dots are. That's our property where it's north of the feeder that's in there right now. And again, I think like you said, I don't think it has to come out. It's only safety and they can put markers on the pole.
That's what their own consultant said. And in their report, it marks it. I'll mark the poles, like, there's another document, but I'll mark these poles that need to be, so the helicopter can properly see them. If the crossing is here, and that's his point, is that this pole has to be high for them both, for their main circuit to come from here too. Well, why not feed it from here?
Here's your supplies from here.
Yeah, but run it on the same poles across it. Is that not possible?
You'd be increasing the height.
Yeah, so how this works is it's a slope thing. So it's,
Yeah, it's 4%.
this pole can be, you know, shorter, and then it goes, but if you get all the way down here, you know what I mean, and then cross.
Well, we would.
I see what you're saying.
It's an inverted cone out from the helipad, so we would have to go back, redesign the line,
Right.
increase its height, and then submit an assessment to Transport Canada. And then they would tell us, is it considered an obstruction that needs to be relocated?
Right.
Or can markers be sufficient or like? So I don't have that information, we just get the trigger on our side to go to Transport Canada. So we have to do a survey. So I think that's a good exercise in my opinion, and I'm not here to make any decisions, it's your municipality. I like preserving this line because it protects all of this future development here.
Right.
But I think building a line here as well and coming around, if you want to develop all of this, the community, or the town wouldn't have to pay for a line expansion in the future. So you would get essentially the ability to develop all of this at Waha's cost.
I think ultimately, if the town can buy this, if we can just get this piece of land right here, then the pole can come up this way and around the houses instead of straight through. And then you just got the anchors. Deal with here, right?
Well, I want to propose that we bypass that and go through Crown land and then have a small buffer strip here and sneak in under the limit into Waha property.
So we kind of just need this strip of land essentially to do that.
So we would build the line in a way that it could have, accommodate an additional circuit.
Right.
So then if the town ever wants to develop homes or commercial properties along this way, we would just string in wires. We wouldn't be paying for the cost of the poles.
If you look down Percy's Way, you see the two houses on Percy's Way. The line can come right at the back of those lots, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that whole
that's
property is
different.
still.
So we just need to see if we can get that triangle.
Yeah, well, we
Whatever
wouldn't,
it is.
yeah, we wouldn't have to though right now. That would be up to Hydro.
And we have a good relationship with the government, so we would submit a land use permit.
Yeah.
And if they see no issues, we would work with you and say, where do you want this to go for future state, should you buy it?
Right.
And we would submit our land use permit for that, and they would grant it to us, allowing us to go through.
Yeah.
Cause it could be a meter, they could have a meter easement from where the lot lines are back in Percy's Way. There's two houses there. Could be a meter from their lot line, like an easement, like along the roads right now. We have an easement that usually drive for the poles. That could be right along that.
Yeah, it depends on what you envision for the future of that, or you can keep a naturalized strip if you like. And it's just when I had that drawing with the yellow line going through the Crown land and over, we're willing to be flexible in adjusting where that crosses into Crown land.
Right. Okay, well, if our main line is staying here, and the reason, for the councilors to understand, the reason I wanted here, this is a wider road, and this doesn't have homes right onto the street, whereas here, it gets a little uglier. They might have to pull new poles and new anchors, and we'd rather avoid that, so just keep it up here, and then you can still build houses. We still have to talk to their consultant to see if we can, because of the emergency landing, or if there's gonna be an issue there. But then this hydro pole stays where it is, and it's more serviceable for you guys, and it's kind of just safer, I think.
Go ahead, Todd.
Dan, is your plan predicated on the fact that the helipad is where it is? Because, Joel, you want to weigh in on this? If we decide and we push back on Waha saying, that's not where, we didn't agree to that helipad being there. We think it should be in the original spot. And obviously we need to provide rationale for that. If it goes back to the other spot, does that change everything?
This was a revision. Our original discussions, the heliport was further, I'm not sure exactly where it
I
was.
think it was where the soccer field is.
So we would have rebuilt our line, because they're connecting up here, the powerhouse is up here somewhere, or in here. If this wasn't here, we would have come up this way. But I'm saying if the heliport stays, this is also an option that might benefit the community as well.
I get that. I think we just need to weigh the pros and cons of each location. I mean, to North Point, and I think Joel may have mentioned this today, you know, we want to minimize the impact that it has on the residents and the community. We don't want any negative impact on land, you know.
I think we have the same interest, right?
Yeah.
Right, so,
When it comes time to read it, like, we don't wanna give you an astronomical cost to do a line expansion, and we can't afford to do it.
No, and that-
We want the customers.
no, and that's
We
good
want the
information too,
business,
right?
Yeah.
For future development. So we need to take a look at this and determine first and foremost where the helipad is going to be. Maybe it is and ends up being there, but we need to rationalize that. We need to come up with.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it just to get a decision today, so.
No,
Be upfront with what's.
no, it's good information, but there's a few things I think that have to be worked out before a decision is actually made.
I did prod a little bit for them to change their helicopter, and they're not moving. I feel like they're very like firm of like, this is where we're gonna put it.
Well, it's because they poured the concrete, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of big factors at play there. The one is, did we ever agree to helipad being where it is? Number one. Number two, if the helipad has to be where it is that the only flight path? Or can that flight path be angled on a rotational, you know? So right now, if you look at the arms of a clock, that's kind of like 7 and 2. If it was the face of a clock you're looking at, can you rotate those entry points? And so it's kind of like this line right now. Can you rotate it? Is that the only flight path? And even if that is the only flight path, what is the clearance above poles? They gave us a report and said this shows you the poles have to be removed. And now I was reading through the report and he says it just says they have to be marked. So the poles don't have to be removed. So is that the only location? Is that the only flight path? Do poles even have to be moved? All of those are the fundamental underlying facts that Waha will say are facts. It was agreed to be here. It has to be this flight path, and you have to move the poles. I question all three of those, but all three of those factors impact Dan's whole presentation of like, how do you enter, right? Like, how does hydro get here? My concern is just, I don't want to lose any residential lots that we could sell to somebody because of anchors being on them, which I think, if I'm understanding correctly, Dan's current proposal would avoid that, going through the Crown land piece there on between Percy's Way and Quarry Road. But then my other question is, how do we continue to service north of the hospital for future residential, not ripping out poles? But again, it comes back to whether poles even have to be removed.
I think like these are two separate projects, so like I think holistically, both Hydro One and the community need to evaluate if that feeder is even truly an impact, and because we haven't been asked to relocate it yet, right? We just gave a very high level ballpark to Project Co so they could bid on it, and so we haven't really, we just know it's coming, we just don't know when.
okay, again, we were told at the meeting here that they had full discussion with hydro and those poles are coming out of there. 3 of them would have to be cut off short, just keeping the communication circuits on them.
Yeah.
But they were coming out of there right away. You have to come out of there. We were told that at the meeting. That we're saying no.
Multiple times they've said that the poles have to come out north of the hospital along Percy's Way. They have to come out, absolutely. And I don't know if that's fact.
We're gonna meet with that consultant that wrote that report and get to the bottom of it. From reading the report, I understand that they're very limited to their flight path because of where the buildings are, but it's not the most ideal flight path based off the report due to winds, but I honestly don't see any chance of them moving it or changing their flight path. Now it's just a matter of getting around it, I think.
I think they just basically want that circuit out of there for safety, their safety maybe or something, but.
It could honestly just be a misunderstanding that they didn't understand the report themselves, you know, but to me, if we can just leave it there, they would want to leave it there.
I spoke with Dan too today about that, and that line's not coming out until the hospital's up and running, basically, so that's another 7 years or whatever.
Yeah, because we actually have temp services, but 6 or 7 temp services along Percy that, until those get disconnected, that line can't go anywhere. So it's not something that would happen immediately.
For a while. Yeah, see, we had the impression they had to come out right away, everything was coming out right away at the meetings, the 2 meetings that we had, that was being done, that they're going to have to take that line out, to reroute it all down, Percy Way, Ferguson, all that, we're going to do right away. But again, Dan said it's 7 years, so.
I guess down, the immediate issue is you're gonna go back and try to get an easement around those houses and into the lot.
Yeah.
Well, it would require an easement from the municipality on municipal property, so that's 10 meters wide, so 33 feet.
Right, so you're talking about the, where is that easement?
Around those houses, right?
For us,
It
where,
would be from
Yeah.
roughly here to here.
I don't know if this is our property.
But they-
According to my GIS,
They work good, like, I'm speaking from experience, okay?
Yeah.
But with hydro, they work good with me. If it's crown land, they give you the easement. There's usually no issue there at all with hydro. Okay?
So I can look back, but I think the technician pulled the property information page on that one.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, as the public works guy, not my decision, but I would
I
recommend.
can share those files as well. I believe it had a different designation, so I think we sent it to our legal team and real estate team to confirm. So I'll share that.
Yeah, because I know we were trying to, well, Waha applied for that property in there, that triangle I call it over there. Okay, they couldn't get it from, the, Mission after Dorset. Then even Queens applied, you couldn't, but if it comes available, it has to go to the municipality now. If we get it, then we can sell it or do whatever we want. But I know if they went ahead with us, we didn't even know anything about it, they went ahead trying to get it. And, but that, the M&R can, or Crown can turn it over to us if they want. But while, as long as it's a Crown land, and with hydro, with the past experience I had with where we had to go through Crown land, it was easier for hydro to get the easement to go through there. You know, if we get that land, then we take that easement over, it's all transferred to us.
And then the Crown will take care of that. They contact us and they transfer that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like the best plan to me for this.
For this, I'd say phase one.
Yeah, just to get the connections, and then, yeah, we're gonna kind of just discuss if we can keep that line going. But if you and I tomorrow can just go over what would happen if we had to go this way, that'd be great, just so we know.
It's not preferred.
No.
Yeah, we really don't want to, but I just wanna know, because again, I worked as an ADEC for 4 months, and my experience sucks. So if you tell me that this is fine and safe, then I'm gonna be a little bit more relaxed, but for me, this is not, I would rather have it here, obviously.
You know what my concern is now, but if we come down that long, down Percy to Ferguson.
Yeah.
Working with a company with anchoring and where the poles are going to go, some of the poles, some of the anchoring is going to be on private property.
Yeah.
All we need is one private owner
That's
saying,
where we
you can't go on my property, and that line is scrapped.
That's where we struggle with those. They drag out. We'd rather not go through.
You guys don't wanna go there, we don't wanna go there, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
It doesn't really, like, I'm just learning, right, as I'm listening to you guys speak, and that wouldn't make sense at all, to go where there's already property, because you can't develop anything further from there, right? Because we're always supposed to be thinking about the future, so you would, I like your option, the one that you're, where you just on, Quarry Road there when you go through and around.
Yeah, and you guys have a
I
copy
mean-
of those as well.
Yeah,
And we're always available for future questions, like if you want to show it.
Yeah, we've got some homework to do ourselves.
yeah.
Well, we're learning a lot about the relationship between the municipality and law as well over the last few months. Me too.
We are learning a lot between the Waha and the hydro too, because we are told one thing, totally.
Yeah.
And you guys are long-term partners, so.
Okay.
It's a little bit strange, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
That's what we'll say.
And like I said at the meeting here, I'm wearing 2 hats for my previous, and I think I asked that question to Dan maybe when he was on virtually last time. How come Hydro was not working with the town? Like, how did they go ahead? Because we were told basically it was a go ahead, you know. That's why I asked that question then, because when I worked there, we always worked with the town too, you know.
kinda have to.
And as we were making our way down, I was starting to review it, knowing I'd have to bring it to my director, because we obviously have to get this approved as well on our side. And I started asking those questions, and I started seeing like a lot of question marks, and then that's when I had reached out to the gentleman in North Bay at first, because I didn't know where to go, because I had never dealt with the town. I'm fairly new in the north as well. I'm from the north, but I was working in the south for a while. I never developed that relationship with the municipality here. And that's when this all kind of like snowballed, and we started to ask more questions, and sounds like it's going in the right path.
Yeah, I think it is like that. To me, that, what you just proposed, I'll call it, the new option. That's, I would, it benefits the town, it doesn't, interfere with too much of anything, I think, and then you don't have private citizens, because with us, we're going to get the private citizens coming to us if you're putting anchors in their yard or poles in their yard. You guys are gonna have a hard time because,
There are customers too, right?
yeah,
We're gonna hear about it too.
yeah, it's gonna be a real, and we know that people are upset along there about the helicopter pad going in there. That was the biggest turnout we had at any meeting that we had up at the community hall. Yeah, because first they were gonna put the pad where it was gonna go, and they were gonna take their staff, everybody over to Moose Factory, and people said, we don't need the noise and all that, like, so. I don't know, even if we're coming down there, some of those people, the other way, they're upset already, are they going to give you easements?
We're not feeling confident with that.
Yeah, that's what I worry about too, working for so.
All right, lots to do, Dan.
Yeah, just the one,
Yeah, no, I appreciate this, you guys giving me a lot more time
the main thing to get them power, for them to have power to the hospital, is the way that he's proposing. And then we'd have worked totally completely with the other about the hydro line. Is that right, Dan? Is that what you said? Yes and two?
Yeah, I'm thinking, this is like the immediate requirement, so we actually have to get them power next year. But this other project, like I said, they have to fully commission their hospital, and the health board has to be signed off before we can. So about a year before their commissioning is done, they'll probably reach out a year and a half to us again, but we've told them we're not entertaining any relocations until a year further down the road, because we're not giving you an estimate or a final design for something that's 6-7, because who knows what the town will be up to by then, right? And this could look completely different, so.
And if they pour their helipad and they're not going to be there, they can't use it, that's their loss, because they never dealt with us.
Make it a skin rink.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dan. Do you have access to that after? Well, are you able to take a look at that later, like in an email, or no?
With this drawing?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna send it
Okay.
to us, we can
Okay.
send it.
Okay.
Maybe Bob Lynn can send it out. Dan sends all that information.
Yeah.
Can you send it?
Yeah.
Forward it to all the councils.
I'd be available for council and staff, if they wanted to go down there, I could, like physically, I could
Yeah.
explain more right on site.
Yeah, just take a look at what we're, like, easements and all that. What are you talking about?
Because we're not only dealing with, we're dealing with residents down in that area.
Do that, I mean, why would you bother? They're not
Sooner
gonna
we
be
get
okay
it, the
with
plan
that.
for it, easier.
Would you like it to be,
No, you're
is
not
that
gonna
why
put a
you're,
hydro, no.
in the middle of your property or poles or
Yeah.
wires running over your, all right.
Thank you.
It's just a slope, I didn't do the math.
Let's go
But
chat.
it does, it's not very good, it's not like.
Thank you, Dan, and, okay, well, we're gonna move on here, so.
Appreciate
Okay,
your.
you're
Thank you,
welcome
Dan.
to stay if you want. Okay, Joel, thanks a lot, too. If you wanna continue with our meeting, well, we'll go on here, okay. Reports and memos. Briefing notes about the in-ice advertisement arena, Tara, manager of, and we have a motion for that, right? Okay, we'll put the motion on the floor, please.
All right. Resolution 2026, number 2026-198, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee award Moosonee Minor Hockey the center ice logo advertising rights for 2026-2027 season at the rate of $4,000.
Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Susan, seconder, Sabian. Any discussion on this? No? All right, I'm gonna ask Joel if you want to put some input on that.
Sure,
Joel?
can do. Yeah, so especially with Tara being off on vacation right now, I can speak to this. So in the past, we have always had what's called the small space and the large space for advertising. And as you can see in the briefing note there, they were at 2,000 and 3,000 last year. She bumped them slightly to 2,500, 3,500. So just a small increase to those spaces. But the bigger thing is that the center ice, the prime advertising spot, we've traditionally given that to Moosonee Minor Hockey free of charge and charge them nothing for it. So in light of the budget conversations we've had, showing council that what our financial picture is, we need to be mindful of every decision we make to give something away free of charge is then going to be borne on the backs of a tax increase coming to cover that, right? And so a 1% tax hike is around $20,000. So this is like a 0.25% tax hike. If you give this away free, which we've done historically, then we're saying to fund that money next year, we need a 0.25% tax hike to bring in that same amount of money. So that's why I've instructed, when I was acting CEO, I was instructing staff to say any fees whatsoever, there's nothing free. You bring everything to council to say, here's what we're charging, and council can decide whether they want to give something away for free. Now, I recognize going from zero to full charge could be a lot. So Tara and I met and kind of banded back and forth. We said, if the other spaces are going for 3,500, this is a more premium space. It really should be $5 or $6 grand. But historically, we've charged them nothing. Why don't we kind of drop that down a little bit and say 4,000? So we're not making them bear the full cost of it right away. So you don't get pushed back from the user group to go from 0 to 6. But 0 to 4, I think, is more appropriate in line with what other people are paying. And other people have come forward already expressing interest to say, can I advertise on that? Well, we always give it to them for free. Well, I'd pay you. So there is an interest expressed in town, sort of just informally, of like, I'd like to advertise there. So do you then put it out to anybody to bid on? Is a question for council, or do you say, we'll give it to Moosonee Minor Hockey first dibs, but they've got to pay full fare, the $4,000, or are we saying we're going to get Moosonee Minor Hockey and let them pay nothing? So the projection or proposal for council tonight is go back to Moosonee Minor Hockey as the major player in that arena. But making them pay the 4,000 to recognize the cost and the value of that advertising, so it's not borne on the property tax base.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Nackley, any discussion, any questions?
I think I'd be okay with a discounted rate, just because they're the primary users during the winter time.
Okay. Susan?
I think they should get it for free. So the Moosonee Minor Hockey Association, right? It's mostly it's an association that provides the hockey for most of our youth, right? And I've always been a strong advocate for community engagement, youth wellness, well-being, all of that, right? And hockey is a big thing. It's got its pros and cons, but it's hockey, right? And I know that those kids are pretty proud of Moosonee Storm right in the center of the ice. I get that it costs. How much does it cost to put it in? Like when they go and put that down and they like put that big emblem, you know, like the Moosonee, like I don't know the details of how much does it cost to do that, right? Because that's how what I feel like. Yeah, because I feel like that's the real cost, right, of what we would be, you know, incurring, or that the real cost of the town would be that.
You want to break even?
Yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like when we move forward, this is what's important, right? These kids, these are our future. This is important. I don't know. I mean, I hear, like I have grandchildren that play in Moosonee Minor Hockey, and I know that they're constantly fundraising. They're constantly, there's issues with, okay, like they're trying to make it inclusive, right? As many kids as possible. And there's all walks, right? All the kids that, you know, some of them can't afford to play hockey. So other families like, you know, contribute, or they donate, or so I just feel like if we suddenly make them pay $4,000, that's going to be a big chunk of Moosonee Minor Hockey money, right? Community money that they're already struggling with. But that's my opinion about that. But I was wondering, like, because I'm trying to be like compromising, because I know the town, we've got some things that we need to be looking at. We need to align what our costs are and make good choices and all of that. Like I'm definitely on board for all that. So that's why I'm wondering, like, what's the cost for putting in that center picture?
Yeah,
emblem.
I couldn't give you a quote off the top of my head. I'd have to get Tara to give me the details on that. I do know there are two types of logos we put in. One is kind of like a vinyl sheet, as it were, that goes in the ice while the ice is being laid. The other is more of like a spray on the ice type of thing. So one is kind of sprayed on or stenciled in. One is like an actual printed material. But I don't have at my disposal those costs. I could get it and bring it back to you next council, but yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is really, this is revenue that we can generate, that we don't have to raise taxes again, my taxes again. We could possibly generate revenue from a business. Now, minor hockey, do they need that advertisement, and do we need to give them that advertisement for free? That would be my concern. We're losing revenue. Like, do they really need? I'm just going to use for example, could be Joe Blow's Electric advertising, give us $4,000, or do we have to have minor hockey on there for nothing? I'm not against minor hockey, but do they really need that advertisement?
Right, or can we put it somewhere else, right? Like, can it be like, yeah, like I'm like open to different ideas. I just don't wanna like charge Moosonee minor hockey, like, you know, a large sum of money when there probably are, like, is there some other way we could do that and get the revenue? Sorry.
Yeah, because if there was another company coming in, they would pay $5,000 or $6,000. And we've had requests for it, but we say, no, we're not. Because our bylaw says $5,000 or $6,000. If Joe Blow's Electric wants to advertise, they're going to pay us $5,000 or $6,000. You know, again, we already give minor hockey a reduced rate for the ice rentals and everything else. If they want to advertise, is there a banner they can put up on outside the arena or something? You know what I mean? Does that have to be right in the on the ice? I see both, like, I want to help you too,
Yeah,
but.
for sure, yeah.
I think there's a difference. There would be, Joel, I mean, maybe weigh in on this as well. There's a difference between Joe's Electric, he's advertising for profit. Moosonee Minor Hockey is a not-for-profit. So if we did charge him, I think there should be a different rate for not-for-profits versus profits.
And that's what.
How much it would cost to put in? Well, it would be their cost to make the logo. Not that I'm offering, but I'm offering. I could put the logos in myself, to be honest with you. It's not that hard.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's what I mean, like, the conversation, right? We gotta have the conversation, because I don't feel that Moosonee minor hockey should have to pay a lot of money, because they are already struggling with the things we do.
Joel, how much revenue did we bring in, I don't know if you know this number, for arena advertising last year or in the past?
I should really get that for you in about a minute and a half here. Just give me a second to pull it up while you're talking there.
Yeah.
But you're right. There is the other option is we could say, do we give them one of the smaller spaces or what we could call the large space for free and leave this primary center ice advertising open for anyone to pay the full fare and advertise on.
And I think they should be given a priority because I'm going to assume they are our largest ice user.
I think they might be,
Right.
yeah, during the season, they must be.
So there are, you know, and I think there's from their perspective, and I think from the town's perspective, there is a sense of pride that probably goes into when somebody walks into your building and they look at your ice and they go, oh, the town of Moosonee, or Moosonee, you know, I think that carries a lot of weight, and I think it goes a long way as well. So those are things I think we want to consider. I don't know if we have a policy on arena advertising, but maybe that's something we could take a look at too. Not that I'm trying to make work for anybody, but.
Looks like last year we brought in $9,000 in logo advertising at the arena.
Was that advertising to its capacity? Because I think it's fairly new, right? Is it fairly new, the
No.
advertising on the ice, or no?
I don't know.
Have we been doing it forever?
Yeah, I think we've done it for quite a while.
Yeah, but I don't, yeah, but like really, like putting like in-linkers in there, and I can't remember which other ones I saw. Yeah, so I mean, definitely, I don't know if we want to sit on this for a minute, or, I don't know.
Do we know if there's a timeline, Joel, for an answer for them?
Well, I know that council is always very eager to push for when is the ice going to get opened up, and that is, I
Right.
think it's mid-October. There's a weekend there. We brought it to council the last council meeting. I think it was around the 16th or so of October. There's kind of a week where the schools are closed, I believe, and that's kind of when we try to do it. So if you're gonna put advertising in, you'd want to be selling those rights in probably the next month or so to have
Yeah.
that sold. So when the ice goes in October, so you could probably get away with bringing it back to the next council meeting. I wouldn't think you'd want to push it into September, because if you're going to put it out for advertising, you want to tell the community they've got to make decisions as a business, and then all of a sudden a month later we're into putting the ice in. So really, ideally, we don't have a decision today. I think you could push off one more council meeting. I wouldn't push it past the 25th. I think just practically then you're going to have just things like logos not sold because it's too late to get it in now. And the ice is being poured and people can't get their decision made and get the funding, and et cetera. But you could probably hold it one more, and then I could loop in with Tara to say, can you give me some more information on what the actual cost is to put these things in, and anything else council wants me to get information on, we can take that back to Tara to pull more information on.
We take a loss, again, they've approached us for keeping it, putting in earlier. They've approached us for taking the ice out later. We're taking a loss on that, plus we give them a special ice hour rate compared to anybody else already.
Yeah, so those are things.
So you gotta look at that too, are we going to keep taking a loss at their arena? And this won't affect the operation or the skating, it's an advertisement. I that's why I look at it that way. We could be making $6,000 on this, for example, from somebody else on that big, which would help us recover what we're already given.
Yeah, so that's what, I think we've kind of moved that way, that Moosonee Storm doesn't necessarily have to have that big center one, but as long as there's somewhere where the kids can see it, I'm sure it'll be have the same effect, Like we'll have the same, and then, I mean, I'm okay with figuring out how much it actually costs to put in, and then we can maybe see if they can cover those fees.
All right, so what does council wish to do with this resolution on the floor? Do you wish to put it on the floor? Do you wish to table it?
Let's see, recommend referring to the next, maybe the first meeting in September.
Okay.
Table it, when's the next meeting? 25th.
It should be the 25th.
Of August, right? Okay.
Okay,
Do that, and then
deferring it, our CEO recommend, Sabine, are you okay with deferring it?
I'm okay.
All right, so that's deferred until September
August 25th.
sorry. Yeah, there's
Will
no.
Tara be back in time?
Yeah, they'll be back on 21st.
Okay. Like, to be able to,
And in terms of what council's looking for, just to be clear, we're looking to see what are the costs to put the logos in at the different 3 spaces. We know what the actual cost is. Is there anything else that council wants specific answers on?
Could we have some of the comparisons of what we charge minor hockey for the use of the ice compared to other people?
Okay.
And I think,
Be our rates and fees.
and then the cost that putting the ice in, what is it, 2-3 weeks ahead of time and taking it out 2 or 3 weeks later, could we have the cost of that as well?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that requested it.
I have another one and I forget. Oh, would you be able to, see if there's do we already have people lined up? Right, for the advertising? I mean,
Sure.
like InLink is they're pretty good at doing that, and maybe InLink could be in the middle. Just put it out there.
All right, so I have this tabled until August the 25th. We'll have to vote on this. All in favor of deferring this until August the 25th. Opposed, carried.
Thank you, Joel.
Yep, I'll take that and connect with Tara and get you guys an answer for next council.
We better figure out how to sign it. All right, thanks. It's a good discussion. Okay, we have a note for Calgary Outreach donation request.
Yeah.
Get a motion for that, please.
Resolution 2026 number 2026-199, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee decline the request for a donation of services and bill Calvary Outreach Ministries, the rate in accordance with town schedule of fees and services.
Can I have a mover for this, please? Okay, Sabian moves it. Seconder. Susan seconds it. All right, do you know anything about this one? Again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna refer to Joel, Todd, because
No,
I'm
it's
not
fine.
sure how much, you're.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can speak to this one as well, Mr. Mayor. So Tara and I connected on this. Essentially, it's the church group Calvary Outreach Ministries, and they're looking to get in-kind donation or free services for some chairs and the deposit and the delivery and pickup and damage deposit, et cetera, et cetera. So the total rental value of the request, according to our schedule of fees, is $2,500. They're asking for a full waive of that, zero charge. Looking back to last year, council did approve a slight deduction for them as a 25% discount on the fees that we did last year. This year, they're asking for a 100% discount. And so I've directed anyone who has anything to do with money to say, full fare, bring it to council, let council weigh in on it. So we could charge full fare, and that's the recommendation I put forward. Or you could mirror what we did last year and do the same 25% discount you did last year. But their request for a 100% discount, I'm proposing that we do not approve a 100% discount on this $2,500 fee and make them pay their share of the fee.
All right, it's up on the floor for discussion. Turn to Susan first this time.
I recommend that we do the same thing we did last year, the 25% discount, but that's plus the refundable amount, right? Like that's on top of that, right? There's like a delivery, there's a chair rental, a delivery, and then a pickup, and a refundable damage deposit. So the 100 would stay the same for the 25% discount, and then. So what is that, 625 off of 2,500? No. Yeah, so off of 2,000 because it's like
Yeah,
the delivery.
she's the way she's proposed her briefing note is she simply said if you give a 25% discount on everything, then it would be $625 loss. So she's saying the total charge is $2,500. A 25% discount on that entire fee would lose $625. You could get into itemizing and saying we're only going to apply the 25% discount on these particular fees, like the refundable damage deposit. We're not going to provide it on that. She didn't get that nuance. She just said a 50% discount across the board, 25% discount across the board.
Yeah.
You could entertain that if you want to get a per fee.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking, a 25% discount on the fee, but you still got to pay the $100 damage deposit. The delivery and pickup, is that like, you mean we deliver the chairs, our people deliver the chairs and our people pick up the chairs?
Yeah, so
And
then you're trying to cover staff.
Okay.
You're trying to cover staff time there, right?
Yeah. What if they say they're gonna pick them up?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Because I know in the past they have, right? They come in, I mean, I think that's what happened last year, there was a big misunderstanding. So if they pick up the chairs and then they deliver them back, I don't know.
They can pay.
There definitely is.
Is that an option?
It could be an option. The one concern I
Could
would
I-
have there. Sorry, go
Could
ahead.
I jump in? Could I jump in here just for a minute, because this was brought up before, Joel, you were on last year, it was a real kerfuffle, and actually came to me and then was brought to council, like, they wanted to pick up the chairs on a Friday night, after hours or on a Sunday, and we didn't have any staff, we had to call staff in and all this stuff. Again, I think we should, if we're going to leave the delivery in there, because it was a real mess last year.
I'm thinking that's why Tara put it in there, so then we can have our staff, right? Like we would control how many hours that is and when it happens, because I think it was very late when they had come and talked to our staff member, and it was a bit of a.
Yeah, well, they even approached, one of our recreation staff at home, and he said he'd go and open up the arena and let them get the chairs and everything, but we still have to pay our staff member overtime,
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Hard costs associated with it. So.
and again, they were supposed to pick them up the day before or something, and they didn't have anybody available, so they came the day that we were off. It was a real mess.
It was very, Yeah, so in 25% discount plus the refundable, what is it? The refundable damage deposit of $100. And then I would keep the delivery and the pickup in there, those costs. I was just asking, like, what if they say we're gonna pick it up, right? Someone's gotta say no, because also in this, also in the briefing note, it does ask, that council, do recommend that admin talk to Calgary Outreach, right? So in that conversation, that's when you would say, hey, actually, we're gonna deliver and you let us know when you're done and we'll pick it up. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the problem. And one of the things we want to try to strive for when we're doing our business in Moosonee as a town is consistent business operating across the board. So there's no claim to favoritism. Oh, why'd you let them pick it up? Why didn't you let me pick it up? Once we let one organization pick it up, anybody else would. So there's that kind of favoritism, preferential treatment that we want to be staying away from. But also it's the work-life balance for staff. I don't want people in the town to walk up to a staff member's house, knock on the door and say, can you come unlock the building for me? I heard you did it for somebody else. Well, sure, I've got the key. I don't mind. No, it's his Friday evening. It's 8 o'clock. He's having dinner with his family. You shouldn't be bothering him. Like you shouldn't be, if a store's closed, the store's closed. If town's closed, town's closed. So that's why she put it in there, saying, no, we will set the time with you. There'll be a fee for it. We'll deliver it. We'll control it. As opposed to you literally knocking on staff members' houses in the evening time, right? So it's just, we want to avoid any appearance of unfair or unequitable treatment and also be fair to our staff as well, which is kind of why those fees are in there. Yeah.
And I know, like our community, I know we've had some heated discussions, right, around the table about how, the pros and cons of allowing that. But in my opinion, I think that it's important that we kind of steer away from allowing that to happen. I mean, even though I'm on council, I'll have someone come over and say, hey, like, can we and I'm like, no, you've got to go the proper route. Just because I think we should be, in this day and age, we should be teaching each other and holding each other accountable that you have to have like work time and self-care time or whatever. But that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for your patience. So I like that idea, that consistency with the picking up and the dropping off and.
Well, we get
And
the
it makes us
control when it goes
Yeah.
out. We get the control when it comes back. It's done during staff time. It's not done after hours. There's no impact on quality of life. So I think we should always be in a position to control that. If we allow them to pick up and drop back off, what if they're late and we haven't had a rental? Now we still gotta go get it. So I think we always should be controlling our own destiny.
What if they change their mind that they want another day? We have our staff waiting over there to, we gotta pay them, they come out next Saturday, next Sunday, we have to pay them overtime both days.
Yeah, no, can't do that.
Consistency.
Fabian, your input?
I'm in agreement of a 25% discount. I think it should just apply to the chair rental, not the delivery pickup, obviously not the refundable damage deposit.
Okay, 25 discount for just a chair rental.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
too?
that's what I meant to, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, Joel, do you hear that? The suggestion is 25% discount on the chair rental only.
Okay.
Change the,
Which is the 2,000, right?
motion.
Yeah, we'll change that. So we're not declining the request, we're just, Joel?
We're not declining the request, we're modifying what we will provide in the request. So council, be resolved that council approve a motion to provide a 25% discount on the chair rental fee of $2,000 while providing no discount to any other fees related to this rental.
Hold on, council, with 25%.
On the $2,000 chair rental fee alone.
Okay, Joe, with 25 discounts on the
$2,000 chair rental fee alone.
chair
Rental fee.
rental fee alone.
Yeah. I think that covers it, and I can.
It's not 25%, it's 2,500.
No, 25% off the 2,000.
Yeah, the total fee is 2,500, but the chair rental fee is 2,000. We're only providing the 25% discount on the $2,000 chair rental fee. All other fees remain in full force.
Okay.
All other fees remain. Can I get Joe, sorry? All other
In
fees
full
remain?
effect.
Okay,
in full effect.
Remains in full effect.
Yeah.
So 25% of the $2,500.
Yeah. So they're
25% discount on the chair rental fee alone.
yes. So they're going to get a $500 discount. Yes, that's correct.
Sorry, Travis. Can you just polish this one, maybe a message forward, please? Yeah.
Or just donate them.
I changed the decline to approve.
Yeah, and I would just put after fee, put in brackets 2,000,
Okay,
that way we know. And then 25% in brackets 500.
alright,
That way we,
that's
motion's clear
2,000
in brackets.
and,
And
okay,
500 for the discount,
and 500
for the 25%.
to the discount.
Yeah.
And then I can connect with Tara, let her know so she can reach out to them and
Yeah.
inform them of council's
Sorry.
decision.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read
They
it?
might change their mind, right?
No.
You want me to be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do it.
It's a little
The
bit.
town meeting is like starts tomorrow.
All right, for no further discussion on this, we'll put it on the floor. All in favor? Always carried.
That's what that tent is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I was wondering what was going on. If there was anything.
All right, we will move on to number 7, new business to write, and there's none. Number 8, correspondence. Now, this has come up many, many times again, and we've talked about we wanted the full council here, but we did not have the CO in place at that time. We did an acting CO, and if you read this, it says the general manager appoint members, general manager / CO, and 1 board member. Now, we tabled it because we knew our CO was coming, all right? So we were talking about 1 board member, and again, when we appoint somebody, we normally appoint with a full board here, but I don't know what you guys want to do with this, because last time we didn't do any, because we didn't have a CO, now we have a CO, we don't have a full board.
So I did a little research on what this actually is. If you look at it in the government website and you look and see like what it has to do with resources and funding pathways and making sure everybody's on the same page, we're not even included on their map. We're not even included in their list. Okay, go ahead, Joel. You know where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I reached out to them, and so I reached out to
Okay.
the conservation agency and said, is there a conservation board that we need to be a part of in our jurisdiction, or do you just hit every municipality in Ontario with a mass mailing? They're like, yeah, it's a mass mailing. Is there any conservation board that is in our area that we need to appoint someone for? No, there's no one in your area you need to appoint someone for. So I just, because we talked about it at the last council meeting, I just wanted to bring back to this council meeting to say, to close the issue, give council the update. We don't need to appoint anyone to this. We shouldn't have gotten this. They just blanket sent it to every town and every city in Ontario. Does not apply to us. I just wanted to give the update to council because we discussed it at the last council meeting.
Yeah, because we don't have a conservation authority here, and they deal with water, swamplands, everything, you know. So.
Yeah, and then I thought, is that something that the town should be concerned about? That we don't have like some type of entity that, or no, am I like way off? Like we have the
Like a
Ministry of
conservation authority?
Yeah, but like some type of, in our own little area, is that such a thing? Can we do that? Like how would that even work?
We have to be careful with the bands too.
Right,
because
that's
the
what I mean,
bands-
like we could
the
work with
bands
it
have
now.
their own group that.
Yeah,
Yeah, for their own
for the land.
self-interest.
Yeah.
But if we didn't have a conservation authority, I would assume the responsibility falls back on the provincial government, which would be the Ministry of
Natural.
In the environment, or what is that?
Environment, natural.
Water, or Oceans or something.
The Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks.
That's probably-
Yeah,
So
the Clean
follow-
Water
follow-
Act, Conservation Authority. I was doing some research the other day.
But
See, we
So
all,
that's
there's
what
no
we
board.
put our First Nations, right? I think I just, because I was doing the research, I started thinking about, okay, but what do we do? Do
a lot
we
of
even
these,
have that? But that's okay, that might be a whole separate
yeah, a
conversation.
lot of these have to do with provincial waterways too, with the
Mhm.
water intake, but we're not,
Yeah.
we're federal, so this would not, this is a provincial one they're talking
Okay.
about. We're federal.
Plus it wouldn't conflict with any of the, indigenous, rights. They have their own.
Yeah, they have their own,
They have
yeah,
their own
okay,
rights,
that's why, okay.
which would probably,
Thought I would just kind of like say it so that somebody could educate me a little bit about what that would look like or what that means. And thank you, John.
Yeah, when I read on this
Your
too,
patience.
and I talked to other municipalities, a lot of these people will work with the wetlands or with the, where they take their water from, the conservation, and work with a lot that way, but.
It's probably just some whole thing that I'm just not aware of in its entirety, right? Like I just, yeah, I'm still learning.
All right, so I guess we don't need that.
Okay, so
That's
we're
about it.
pushing that, is that what we're
Right?
We're now moving on to this one. It's been like 3 times.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we will move, there's no motions, there's a motion, reading of the bylaw, appointed chief administrative officer, but we got to put Todd on now. Okay, go ahead, please.
Resolution 2026 number 2026-200, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee approves bylaw number 13-2026, being a bylaw to appoint a chief administrative officer, CEO, for the Town of Moosonee, being read the first and second time, be it to be read third time, and finally passed.
Can I have a mover, please? Susan, seconder, Sabian. Moved by Susan Hunter, seconded by Sabian Nasty. Any discussion on this? No discussion? I have one question, or comment. First of all, I want to welcome Todd to the community and to the town of Moosonee. I'd love to thank Joel for all the hard work that he's done for us acting. Now, do we have to have a motion now to take Joel off of acting? Are we going to have that?
No, when we passed our last bylaw on there, we said that I was appointed for up to 90 days or the appointment of a CAO. So that was already built in there, that once the new person started, mine ended. So I've already reached out to Shalom and said that yesterday was the last day I had acting pay. He's now started today, and I'm just back to my regular rate now.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted, those are a couple things I was thinking about. So if there are no other questions, we'll move on to voting. All in favor? Votes carried. Well, welcome, Todd. You're the official CAO. Look forward to working with you.
Joel, you've been fired.
Yeah.
So,
No, not as a CFO,
he's like,
not as a
"Oh,
CFO, not the treasurer.
I remember when we started all this, right, and we were talking about how long this could possibly
Yeah.
take. So I'm just pretty glad that it didn't take that long.
Yeah, it was 90
Yeah.
days, I guess. You have a 90 days.
Yeah, because we were in a bad shape there. We were all stepping out of bounds and doing things that was very gray area.
Right. So,
It'll take as long as Diane.
yeah, I was afraid it would take that long.
All right, so now we go to closed session.
Yeah, you want to discuss
Right?
business, council announcement first.
Council announcements and discussion.
You just moved from 10, new business.
What's your new business?
Number 11.
She just made her skip some.
Okay, new business, we don't have no business, council announcements and discussions, updates, nothing, from anybody? Okay, so we'll move to closed session, thank you.
Right.
And you gotta kick me every once in a while, or slap me and keep me on track here. All right. We'll pass this motion to go in camera while we're here. Be resolved that this meeting move in camera at 7:24 p.m. for the purpose of personal matters about identified individuals, including municipal employees. Could I have a mover to move into camera? Sabian moved as seconder. Susan seconded. Okay, we're up here. All right, any discussion about moving into camera? If not, all in favor? Opposed, carried. We are in camera. What we discussed stays in here and
Okay, we'll take a look at, sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
Resolution 2026/2026-203, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee adopt the minutes of the closed session number 11-2026 of July 28, 2026, as presented slash comment.
Can I have a mover, please? Take and move. Can I have a second, please? Susan, you second. Any discussion on, no discussion on the minute? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Alright. Motion, 2026-204. Be resolved that this meeting adjourned at 7:48 p.m. So move to Susan. Way up there on this one. Stevie. Any discussion on the minute? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night. Give me a call tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Okay, give me a call anytime, you're free.
Sounds good.
Okay, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joel.